what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Last Night We Watched. I'm Roman. I'm here with Carlos, Christian, Ian, and Mark. Today we're celebrating our 1-year anniversary since we started doing all this. And to celebrate, we picked a badass movie with a bunch of badass dudes, because we're a bunch of badass dudes. So we like to think. Predator, 1987, Arnold Schwarzenegger and the boys. And before we start, cheers, fellas. 1 year.
Cheers, guys. Cheers.
Knock, knock.
An elite rescue squad
You're bleeding, man. I ain't got time to bleed.
is being led by the ultimate warrior.
We need the best. That's why you're here.
But now,
What's got Billy so spooked?
there's something out there waiting for us. And it ain't no man. They're up against the ultimate enemy.
Holy Mother of God.
Nothing like it has ever been on Earth before. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Predator. The hunt begins Friday, June 12th at theaters everywhere.
Predator is a pretty simple premise. Arnold Schwarzenegger and his team of crack commandos going into the jungle to... they don't really know why, actually. They're kind of misled by Carl Weathers, but they end up facing
off. Is it a
off.
rescue mission?
Yeah, I think that's how they frame it. Yeah.
They're going after is it Jim Hopper?
Yes. Oh, yeah, it is.
Dude,
yeah.
I was like, wait a minute. Jim Hopper from Stranger Things.
I was watching it last night, and he takes the tag off, and he's like, Jim Hopper. I was like, what? No way.
It's canon.
Yeah, like, I've never put those two together until now.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
They didn't even know Jim Hopper was going to be there because they were rescuing a politician, I thought.
Oh,
So they say, yeah, he was like a
Yeah.
CIA cabinet minister. No, he was a cabinet minister from another country, and then they find out he's CIA, and then they find Jim Hopper, and then they find the motherfucking Predator.
Is it basically Jim Hopper was them before them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I always like Arnold's got a line. He's like, "This CIA up, does he always travel on the wrong side of the border?"
Yeah.
Like, it's just so funny.
Yeah, he's throwing all kinds of stuff like that at Carl
Yeah.
Weathers.
No, he says that to he's General Phillips.
Oh, yeah.
Because like
Early on, R.G. Armstrong from Sam Peckinpah movies and stuff like
he's in
that.
a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Carl Weathers is like shrouded in darkness at first. He's like, because some dumb bastard recommended
Accused you of being the best.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when you get your
Dylan.
famous. Yeah.
You son of a bitch. Yeah.
And then he loses the arm wrestling match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goes to show who's top dog.
Someone's been pushing too many pencils.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the matter? CIA got you pushing too many pencils. Yeah.
Easy, that.
I feel like everybody's got an Arnold impression,
Oh, yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
even if they don't say it, it's in there somewhere.
He's
Get to the
he's
chopper.
one of the most impersonated celebrities of all time, I want to say.
Yeah.
Just because he's got such a distinct way of speaking.
Yep.
So I don't know.
I feel like this movie's super quotable too. You got the
It is.
infamous "Get to the chopper."
Yeah. Stick around.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it bleeds, we can kill it.
Yeah. Well, we did Commando was our very first movie we did a year ago, and he's chock full of one-liners
Oh,
in
yeah.
that. So this is, I think, 2 years after Commando.
Yes.
So probably still some of that bouncing around.
This
Plus,
is
I think a lot of the same people worked on it.
probably
Joel Silver.
peak Arnold Schwarzenegger, I want to say. This is, I mean, it's not my favorite of his. It's top 5 for sure.
Yeah.
But this, I mean, he was just knocking them out. Commando, Raw Deal, The Running Man came out the same year.
Mm-hmm.
I really
Terminator.
liked it.
This
The
is
Running
between
Man.
Terminator 1 and 2.
Yes. A few years before Total Recall.
Mm-hmm.
He was really killing it.
Yep.
Indeed.
Yeah. Movies like this, that's why.
Yeah, exactly.
Great movies like
Yeah,
this.
I concur.
Yeah. So we've all seen Predator. Christian, you seen Predator before? Or?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I had seen it before. There was a lot of stuff I had to remember. I was like, oh, okay, that happened. I didn't even know. I couldn't remember the Jim Hopper thing. That caught me so off guard.
That surprised me too. That was
The skinned bodies and everything. The flayed.
yeah.
It's so great, man.
Yeah.
So great.
It's a good reveal with all the
Yes.
crows and everything,
Oh, the
too.
vultures or whatever.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
that
the-
shit's
yeah,
sick.
yeah.
Yeah, I like Sonny Landham, just straight up kicks one of them. Or I don't know if it's Sonny Landham, it's one of them, just straight up just kicks
I didn't
one out of
notice
the way.
that.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
funny. Yeah. No. I like that it's a small cast, too, for the most part. You get the main, I think, 7 of them. Is it 7? Because he's like, you threw the 6 of us into a meat grinder. And then
you have Carl
including...
Weathers
It's 6 of
included.
them, and then with the chick, it's 7.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so, small group. You don't have
Oh,
to spend
wait a
too much
minute,
time
it's-
on characterization. They just do it themselves.
It's 7 actually. I'm sorry.
It is
I
7?
didn't count Shane Black. Yeah.
Oh,
7.
yeah, Shane Black.
Yeah.
That's funny. Shane Black is in this. He's the guy that wrote like Lethal Weapon. I read that he was writing Last Boy Scout, which we've covered before, while he was
Right.
between takes and stuff on set.
Whoa.
Yeah.
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 So
pretty cool.
yeah, it's all this time like blending together, all these people, all these
It's
great minds.
It's a very fitting choice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For our 1 year.
A lot of like really well-known names too. So
Yeah.
helps.
Yeah, Jesse Ventura,
Yeah.
the body himself.
Yeah, the mind.
Carl
Oh.
fucking Weathers.
Yeah. You get Bill Duke in here. He's very recognizable.
Commando.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Commando. And I think it's just funny to have Shane Black in here.
He's very out of place.
Yeah.
Him and Poncho are like the only dudes that actually look like normal guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not roided out.
Yeah, Poncho looks like Adrian
bodybuilders.
Brody kind of. Adrian
A little
Brody's
bit,
big brother
yeah,
or something.
A little. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
Shane Black's
when
got the glasses.
He does the thing when he finds the skin bodies, the Catholic thing.
Mhm.
I was like, that was a cool little touch.
Yeah. He's got some character to him.
Yeah.
I guess the actor himself was like a Vietnam vet. and
Oh,
stuff.
really? I didn't know.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I don't know about Jesse Ventura if he went
was
to
a
Vietnam.
Navy SEAL. I don't know if
Yeah.
he was in Vietnam, but he was a Navy SEAL.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse Ventura was?
That's
Yeah.
what he claims.
I read he was
I
a
believe it's real.
frogman, which is like a underwater demolition
Yes.
team. I think it's like Navy SEAL adjacent.
Huh.
It's
Yeah.
tomato pretty much.
He eventually became like a mayor or something, didn't he?
He was governor of
He was
Minnesota.
governor.
Two
Yeah.
later
Two
governors
govs.
in this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my
so
god.
cool.
And one of them's not Ronald
California
Reagan.
and Minnesota.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Minnesota.
Yep.
The gummy bear of Candy Conia.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that pretty much killed Schwarzenegger's career.
It did.
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
much. He wasn't.
Get into
he's-
politics.
Hasn't been the same, really.
I probably did for Jesse Ventura too. I don't know if I've seen
Yeah.
him in anything. I know he ran for Senate, I think, in
Oh, wow.
2010s sometime. So did Sonny Landham, actually.
He's just like a conspiracy theory guy now.
Oh, yeah?
He's been like that for a very long time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got a base somewhere. A voter base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Jesse.
Yeah.
We'll try to get Jesse on the show and interview him maybe
Oh
or something.
yeah. Talk about conspiracy theories with him and whatnot.
Yeah. Conspiracy theories and Predator.
Yes.
Oh, what was it like? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
so then we all reviewed it. I mean, what did everybody think? Anything like new you guys notice around this time around, or anything jump out to you? What do you think, Carlos?
This is one of the best action films ever made. I mean, we've been reviewing a lot of hits. We've been watching RoboCop. A year ago, we were reviewing Commando, Rambo, everything, all the best films. And this one, I don't know. I keep coming back to it. It's one of the ultimate sci-fi films too. You got the Predator. He's like an alien, and he's hunting people. There's a lot of you can read into this film, I guess you could say. A lot of people read into it and say it's about the AIDS crisis. A lot of people will say it's about the Iran-Contra deal. A lot of people will point out homosexual themes in this film. And once you actually start looking for those homosexual themes, you'll like notice a lot of them. Like Billy, he like goes and cuts a vine and starts drinking the liquid very phallically.
Yeah, like
And
he's
then
really
all the-
going for it.
Yeah, and then all the
Yeah,
liquid,
he's
the white
sucking-
liquid starts
he's
pouring all
sucking
over
away.
him. Yeah. But I mean, if you can overlook like the gay themes and stuff like that, it's just great. You have everybody lined up in one big shot, all shooting into the jungle randomly, and
The big minigun.
the big
Yeah,
miniguns.
It's
You
like
got
one of the
big,
greatest movie guns ever.
Mhm.
yeah, roided out dudes just
Yeah.
being dudes in the
Yeah.
jungle. It's
That's
sick.
Dudes being
It's a
guys.
very
Yeah.
manly movie.
And like we were
Macho.
saying, it's highly quotable too. There's iconic scenes in this one when everybody's it's memes now is when they meet and they do the handshake together, him and Carl Weathers. Yeah, this is just one of the best movies ever. I love this movie.
Yeah. I loved it too. I was like watching it, and now I'm a film guy, because I've been doing this for. So there's like small things I noticed that I
Such
could
an
nitpick
expert.
away at. Yeah, but zoom out. Like I just love this movie. It's definitely one of my favorite movies. It's definitely one of my most watched movies. Probably seen it more than, everything but 2 or 3 other movies. Yeah, no, I just had a damn good time. I like that it pivots in the middle, basically from action to sci-fi. It still keeps the action elements and stuff, but yeah, it's kind of like what's that movie, From Dusk Till Dawn, in
I was
that
gonna
way.
bring that
Yeah,
up. It's
yeah.
very- yeah. They do the same thing in that movie.
Yeah, like in the first maybe half of the movie, you could be basically watching First Blood Part 2 or something like that.
Right.
They're invading the camp, and there's all that stuff. There's that little intrigue with the Predator, but you haven't seen him yet or anything. And then he gets introduced, and he just starts picking people off one by one.
What do you guys think
like a
of,
slasher. Is it a giallo?
It's a yeah. I know. What do you guys think? Because the Thing opens the same way with like the spaceship coming to Earth.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think of that? Because some people don't like that. I think John McTiernan, the director of this movie, didn't want that in the film.
Really?
Showing the alien ship coming to Earth. What do you guys think about that?
I like it. I think it adds some mystery.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
I like it too.
I could see
I
people.
like the design of the ship also.
Yeah, it looks like the Predator.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I paused it to look at it.
Yeah.
It's a good effect too.
Yeah.
I like
It's
it because it kind of gives you an idea where he's from. You know,
But
it's,
I
it's not
think-
like some mysterious creature from thousands of years old that's been living in this jungle.
Right. I think people
Right.
think it detracts from the mystery because we know
That's what I could
that
see,
that it's definitely an alien presence. But at the same time, I don't know. I just think it's a very appropriate way to open the film.
I agree. Yeah.
I think it works.
I think once you sit down in the dark theater and you see an alien ship coming across the screen, like in The Thing or the Predator, you're like, oh, we're in for a treat right now.
Yeah.
But I do see that, like, because when they're playing it, they find Jim Hopper's bodies,
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, the
squad.
Sandinistas, did they do this? You
Right.
know, you don't
Yeah.
know, or the whoever's in the jungle.
Right.
But we know because we saw that spaceship. I could see why that would be a critique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it works. Do you think it works?
Maybe put the spaceship at the end. Maybe they have their final big battle
And then it
in the
flies
ship
away.
or outside the ship or something, because you've got that mystery through the entire movie,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see both ways. I'm fine with how it turns out, though. You know.
Yeah, I wouldn't change it. That's just me, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, it's like you just know that as a viewer, you know that it's an alien and it's
Right.
gonna do some weird shit, and that they're in for some unexpected stuff. You know, the
Yeah.
little parrot gun thing that like tracks people and
Yes.
shoots lasers, and his tracker. And,
Badass gun.
Yeah.
It's just the design of the Predator. Everything about it. The weapons, the mask, the kind of dreadlocky things.
Mhm.
It's
And then the unmasked Predator, too.
Yes, with the mandibles. It's so great. man.
Yeah.
It's just it's one of the best movie monsters ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's up there with
Oh, yeah.
Frankenstein monster, Dracula, the xenomorph from the Alien films. It's just
Mm-hmm.
it's just iconic.
And speaking of his pulse cannon, you could have just made a single red dot tracking everybody, but they went with the 3 dots,
And
it's
forms like
iconic
a triangle.
now.
Yeah,
it's iconic.
It's so awesome, man.
Yeah, I love that
Yeah.
shot of Bill Duke.
He's like crawling.
Yeah, and then like it kind of starts on his arm, I think, and then goes up to his head. And then,
Yeah, I think I said it before. That always bums me out because I really like Bill Duke.
Yeah,
he
he's the best.
He might be my favorite character. It's tough to choose one, but
Yeah.
I always like him.
Especially when he's shaven.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's so tense.
Yeah.
That's so tense, and then he just like snaps it. Like, ooh,
You feel that.
yeah,
You feel that like get like phantom pains or some
exactly.
shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Is he like shaving with
Empathize.
like
He's just straight
he's
up
just dry shaven,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like using
He's a
sweat?
tough badass guy.
yeah. That's his
Yeah,
lubrication.
He's
yeah.
very sweaty. He's like a Kevin Garnett or something, you know, just a sweaty
Patrick,
man.
Patrick Ewing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Sweaty man.
It's funny.
Yeah. But no, I definitely had a good time, as I always do when I watch Predator, and it's you know, I think Mark maybe you described it as a popcorn movie, or you intimated that at least. It is a popcorn movie. You just get a bunch of snacks and some beers
Yep.
and
That's what
set aside an hour and a
That's what I
half, and
do.
it just flies by. You know, never slows down. It never drags. Yeah.
pretty well
I
paced.
fucking
It's very well
love
paced.
Predator.
It's incredibly well paced.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a time in the movie where I'm bored,
No.
even as a
Nope.
kid. Like even as like an
Yeah.
8 or 9, 10-year-old, wherever I was, I don't think I was ever bored at all.
I had the thought watching that if someone, because I'm like, what can you take away from this movie? What isn't good about it, you know? And there's very little, I think. But if someone didn't like it, they could just say it's a bunch of dudes running through the jungle for an hour and a half, because there's hella scenes of them like cutting through the jungle. But personally, I like it. I think it adds to the suspense of it all, and the you know, the claustrophobia and everything.
Yes.
They're in the fucking jungle, man. It's
Yep.
it's hot and you can't see anything.
There's this one scene where they're following Bill Duke, and he's running along, you know, and they have the camera right there, and it's just amazing because, you know, there's no jittery or anything. It's really smooth as he's running, you know, and
Great tracking shots, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it must have been a pain in the ass to set up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Actually,
Especially there.
recording in the jungle? What the heck?
Yeah. Yeah, it sounded like it was really tough shoot.
I was gonna ask you, Christian, did you take anything away from your reviewing? Because viewing it years later, it's probably a little different. I watched this movie like 3 months ago, so
Yeah.
it's like an annual thing for me.
One thing I definitely noticed was I really appreciate, you kind of just said this, but about like the jungle theme, like the setting being in the jungle. It's like the same reason that I really like the First Blood, First Blood, and I definitely got a good kick out of that second watch.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm pretty sure I'd only seen this once before, but yeah, jungle settings are always nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like fish out of water, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I mean, they're commandos, so they're used
Right.
to this, but still, it's like nobody, except maybe the natives, can traverse jungle, thick
Right.
jungle like that and
Exactly.
stuff. So
Yeah, and the Jim Hopper thing, of course. I mean,
yeah,
Stranger Things wasn't even around yet
Yeah.
last time I watched
That was
this.
so funny. I wonder if the writers got that name from this or something.
I have to
bet.
think so.
Yeah, they
it's
had
a
to
little, nod to Predator in a way, maybe.
Yeah, 80s
Yeah.
movies, is
Yeah.
such a big thing in Stranger Things.
Right.
They had to have done that
Yeah.
for sure.
They could claim, they could pull so many writers do that. Like, oh, I've never even seen, there's so many kills from the Friday the 13th Part 2 taken from Twitch of the
Bay of
Death
Blood.
Nerd, Bay of Blood.
Yeah.
And they go, we never even seen that movie. It's like, yeah, sure. You've
Bullshit.
Never seen, you've never seen that? Okay, sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, who
No,
knows?
I don't think they would do that, though. The Duffer Brothers, I think they
Yeah.
acknowledge, all their
Right.
inspiration. Yeah.
Have you guys heard what they're doing with
The Duffer Brothers?
Yeah, they're George Lucasing some stuff.
I read that, and then I read that they retracted that. Like, no, we're not doing that.
Oh,
Okay,
I hope
really?
not.
Yeah,
learn
that's
from
what I read.
learn from the mistakes.
I have the Blu-ray of
George
the first
made.
season. It was only the first season, right?
That they're
They're gonna change the CGI?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I had the Blu-ray, so I'm good.
Yeah.
I think this movie's a good example of why you don't need to go back and change
Exactly.
CGI. It's not
Thank
perfect,
God. Well, but that's why I like the imperfections. I like that it's a product of its time.
Yeah, exactly.
It was state of the art at the time.
Right.
Why are you gonna go back? I don't want to go down that, but
Yeah,
the effects I think are really good in this.
Mhm.
I think
Oh,
I think they hold up really.
Yeah, that some of it makes me laugh, like when the predators jump from tree to tree and it looks like a Tekken character or something, but dude, it was 1987.
Yeah, exactly.
I really can't hold that against it.
You have to, in my opinion, you really got to look at it with that mindset.
Yeah, we can make fun of Scorpion King because it was bad in 2001.
Yeah,
or
exactly. Because
2002.
it's sad when a decade prior Terminator 2 CGI was better than your CGI in 2001.
Exactly,
that is a valid criticism. But with this, it's that was pretty. Not a lot of people were doing that at the time.
And some of the camo, I think, or the invisibility, still looks pretty damn good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you pick anything up on your latest watch there, Ian?
Just how much I like it, and just how much I don't remember liking, everything after 2.
Mm-hmm.
Including the Alien versus Predator movie. I've never seen the second Alien versus Predator movie. But,
Requiem.
Requiem.
Sucked.
Yeah,
It's pretty bad.
It was so dark.
Yeah.
right.
you
Yeah,
couldn't see what was
I've
going
seen
on.
clips, and I'm just like,
Dark.
what the hell's going on?
Right.
But this movie, and it also, I guess I'll give you a better answer. It's standout of 80s action films. We have the First Bloods, we have the Commandos, we have the First Blood Part 2s, we have the Terminators. This is one of those, the RoboCops. This is one of them. This is the Mount Rushmore of it's on there with all the other 80s action films because it's almost a slow burn in a way. You're not just thrown in right away to the Predator. Just you see what it did. You're very confused as to what's going on, and then you got that great action sequence where they're just blowing the hell out of that little camp.
Mm-hmm.
Really great action there. And then that's when the Predator starts fucking with them because it knows that these guys, they're some bad hombres, and they're worthy adversaries. So that's when he starts targeting them. And it's not just there's some style. It's stylistic. It's not just mindless action. There's actually some substance to it, and I really respect it for that. And,
Going back on the stylistic aspect, almost feels a little Vietnam era-ish with the chopper scene in the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
Fortunate Son starts playing.
Yeah.
Right.
Who are they playing? Are they playing Richard Lewis?
Long Tong
Little,
Sally?
Yeah, Richard Little or
Something like that.
Little Richard.
Little Richard, yeah.
Is it Little Richard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Tom Sally.
They got the boom box strapped to the wall.
Ghetto blaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's so great. It's so many.
They have really
damn
good
good
camaraderie,
things.
the characters from that scene in the helicopter.
Mhm.
I always like that, the red light. I always like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Except
You
when
know.
Jesse Ventura spits on Carl Weathers' boot.
Yeah, but I kind of
He's
like
the new guy.
But I like that
Oh,
because
yeah.
it kind of shows that they don't have respect for Carl Weathers.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like kind of he's like the businessman, the company guy, if
Yep.
you will.
Yep.
The pencil
the guy
pusher.
that kind of sold
The
out.
pencil pusher.
Yeah.
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 right.
It
I don't
does-
care. You are back in the world.
Yeah.
He does end up not being trusted by Arnold at a certain point.
Right.
As well.
Yeah. Well, he was
So-
deceitful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Fucking government.
Exactly.
You know.
That is one thing I'll say. I watched Predator 2 to prep for this one. I cared a lot more about the characters in this film than I did about number 2.
Mm.
I think it's.
I like the characters in Predator too. I like
They're
Bill Paxton's fun.
I feel
Gary
like they're
Busey's
not.
fun.
Yeah, true.
Good cast.
He's so whiny.
Non-crazy
Bill
Gary
Paxton,
Busey.
yeah. He goes out. Hey man, he goes out with a bang though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I don't want to talk about Predator 2 too much because I
Yeah.
can talk a lot about that. But.
But I feel like this is Arnold's unit, and he cares for each and every one of them. And we even see Bill
I
Duke. He
agree.
gets emotional over the loss of Jesse Ventura, which, going back to the homosexual themes, you can argue, hey, there might be a little something there between them. But still, you really care. They were a tight knit group, and they're all bag them up. We got to take them with us. No man left behind in a way.
I liked how then the Predator came back and took him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
Claimed his trophy.
I think that's the bait and switch when Bill Duke runs off. He's stabbing the
the pig.
beast.
Yeah.
The beast in the night, the warthog, whatever it was. And then wow, it was almost like I almost wonder if the Predator set that up. And then
Maybe.
I
Or he
don't
was just
know,
waiting.
I have no idea. Maybe he's just like waiting for a time, and then he went and stole Jesse Ventura's body.
Because at that point in the movie, he's already hurt. He's been shot by, I think Bill Duke gets him when he's running off after
Right,
killing
yeah, right.
Jesse Ventura.
Yes.
But I think at that point, maybe the Predator's a little more careful.
Right.
Starts picking them off, one by one. He'd already killed Shane Black and Jesse Ventura, but, the rest of those bad motherfuckers, like you guys said.
Yeah, I like the line Poncho. He goes, I forget what he says, and he goes like Arnold asks him something like he's like something. He goes, I can't tell, and then Arnold's just like, you see his reaction on his face, like what the hell? Like what do you mean you can't tell? You know what I'm
Right.
talking about? I forget what exactly.
I think
how the
it's
scene
after
goes.
Shane Black runs off, the chick, she's like hiding,
Yes.
and then, Poncho like stumbles upon the body.
No, I think it's because he finds his intestines or something.
Yeah,
He's like,
or his
he's like,
equipment.
he's like, did you find the body or something? He's like, I
Yeah,
can't
that's what
tell.
it was.
Yeah, something like that.
Did you find the Hawkins?
He's like, yes, yeah. He's like, I can't tell.
Maybe they named Hawkins, Indiana after.
Oh my god, Jesus Christ!
After Shane Black's
that's
character.
insane.
I could
That's
see
hilarious,
it.
dude.
Yeah.
Wow, I never thought of that.
Be the case.
Yeah.
Could be.
But yeah, I just like that mystery. Also, it's very creepy and
Yeah, the flayed bodies is creepy.
oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
such a great
Like
it's just such a great character character choice for the Predator to do. It's like kind of like us. Like we do that with deer and
Right.
the game that
Yep.
we hunt. It's just kind of doing its own version of it.
No, definitely. He's a trophy hunter.
And I think
he's
it
just for sport.
I think it works for me because it's like, well, okay, why? Like, why would the Predator be doing what we do on Earth? And I think it's because I think the species found Earth. It's like these are very similar to us. We're kind of humanoid. We're bipedal. We have arms and faces and everything. And I think maybe as time went on, they picked up a few things. Maybe vice versa. I don't know. Maybe we got inspired from I have no fucking clue. But
They're taking
it
out the
works
most
for me.
dangerous predator.
yeah, it works for me.
Man.
I heard that this is a play on that classic story on The Most Dangerous Game,
Yeah.
Definitely.
where the poacher, he gets tired of hunting animals. He's like, I'm gonna hunt humans
Right.
now.
Yeah.
Mm.
Right.
Kind of cool.
Yeah.
Cool concept. Mark, on your watch through, did you pick anything up? Anything new?
No, not really. I've seen it so many times. There were a couple things I liked that. Because it was in the mid '80s, I liked the fact that it was basically two different movies. At the beginning, when you've got you know, we had 7 people and we've got like 50 bad guys and we're just standing out there mowing them all down, you know, that kind of thing. And so you had that cliche that basically every 80 action movie had, and then it goes into what you guys were talking about, the mystery part of it, and it's just that group of guys, and there's no outside influence as far as they're concerned.
Right.
I liked the camaraderie that we were talking about. The big thing is when they found that pile of goo that used to be Hopper, and he uses his knife and he grabs his dog tags and slings them to Arnold.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it's just that kind of stuff. You know, it just shows you how close these guys are and how many missions they've done together.
Mm-hmm.
And but yeah, other than that, like Roman said, you know, I'm just a popcorn pop kind of guy when I'm watching movies. I said something to Ian a few movies ago about I was going to try to see more into movies than I used to, and I just can't do it. You know, unless it's blatant.
There's nothing wrong with that.
If I'm the only thing, if I'm watching, you know, the President's Men or whatever it is, you know, something like that just smacks me in the face as far as conspiracies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't do it because it takes away from how I enjoy movies, and yeah.
Which that might be like a better way to watch film too, because I remember going into my 80s action film class and my teacher like looked at us all and he said, yeah, I'm going to change the way you guys look at film, and you guys might not like it. It might even be for the worst, but you guys are going to change the way you look at film. And now I have to read into everything and look at, is this about AIDS? Is this about homosexuality? Is this about the black, you know,
in the 80s,
black slavery and
Sometimes
other
it works,
films?
sometimes.
But
Yeah.
then sometimes it also kind of takes, I'm just speaking on my own first person view. Sometimes it's almost a detriment. It depends on the movie, man. You know, it all depends.
Well, and then you go up to a director like John Carpenter and you're like, oh man, I read into it and these are all the themes I was picking out. And he's like, no, I just wrote it on a cocaine binge. Or I was just drunk as fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like you're reading too much into it.
Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. You know, it's fun to do that, but also at the same time, you got to step back and be like, it's a fucking movie.
Yeah,
You know, like,
yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
just have some popcorn.
exactly.
Yeah, enjoy.
I concur.
Yeah. I think there's something to be said, like when you know how the sausage is made, you know, it
Yeah.
changes the way you view everything a little bit.
Exactly.
You know, for any medium, music or art or
Right.
you know, paintings or whatever, or movies. Yeah. Like it's nice. This is one where you can basically shut off your brain. You don't have to worry about it. But it was fun. It's fun for me to watch and like think like, man, where did they film this? And it turns out it's in like Mexico. They
Right.
filmed it, and you know, like, oh, how did they do this effect and how did they do this and that? Like for me, most of the time, it makes movies more enjoyable because just over our year of doing these, you know, I feel like I've learned so much more about movies and how they're made and
Yeah,
what
that's why-
things mean.
That's why I like talking to you guys, because you guys pick up on so much stuff that I don't, and it's just like,
Right.
wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's always cool to watch, and like if you watch it with somebody who doesn't watch a lot of movies, then they have their own perspective on it, and you get to see, you know, I don't know, it's kind of like you get to see it through their eyes, and
Yeah.
yeah, and when I was a kid and I watched Predator, that's how I was. I'm just like, whoa, this is fucking cool,
Yeah,
big guns, explosions,
exactly.
crazy
Yeah.
monsters,
Yep.
yeah,
When we, like I said earlier about when Bill Duke's moving, you know, and that like Texas Chainsaw, when they had that beautiful blue sky scene,
Yeah.
you know, right before she goes into the house. I've picked up more on soundtracks now as
Yeah.
it being another part, like another character in the movie, you
Yeah.
know, because it does, you know, I'm like,
clues you into things.
Yeah.
right, yeah.
we
Tells me
talked-
what's coming up and all that.
Have we talked about this movie's soundtrack?
I don't think so.
What do
Nope.
what do you think about it, Mark?
After saying that, I really didn't pay much attention to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
You
trying
know?
to think.
I like it.
I like it a lot.
I think it's
Yeah,
good.
it's great.
Alan
Yeah.
Silvestri, I like him a lot. He did Back to the Future.
Yeah, he did a lot of
He
movies.
did a
I
lot
saw.
of, yeah.
He's a little underrated.
Yeah, some parts that it
Well,
felt
maybe not that. He's just like he's not as talked about as say John Williams. Or
Yeah,
Hans
for
Zimmer,
sure.
You know?
right.
I
Some
felt
of the
like-
big ones.
At the beginning, the first track when the alien ship is flying through, I got a lot of John Williams vibes
Yeah.
from that.
Yep, me too.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, it felt like some parts felt like, I don't know, John Williams score or like a is it Bruckheimer, Jerry Bruckheimer? I feel like I always say Zuckheimer, but I think I'm mixing Zuckerberg and Bruckheimer. Anyway, you know, it felt like, I don't know, Danny Elfman maybe at some parts. Like it didn't feel out
Yeah.
of place. It just felt kind of different. And then, but you know, the main theme itself is so kick-ass.
Yeah.
I think we might have like some bongos in there for like the jungle
Yeah.
theme.
Yeah,
I think so.
That's
Yeah.
why I was saying it kind of reminded me of Commando.
Yeah,
Instead of
definitely.
steel drums,
Right.
like
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was mentioning I don't know what instrument it is, trumpet or saxophone, not saxophone.
I think it's a trumpet.
Yeah. It felt like they're playing taps or something at one
Right,
part, and it
right.
reminded me of, Platoon or like Saving Private Ryan or something like that. It's kind of when everything's calmed down, and I think
G.I.
Arnold-
Jane.
After the
I
blast.
got a little bit G.I.
It's
Jane.
after the big blast. Right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. The big suicide thing
Yeah,
from the Predator. Yeah.
Mr. Sore Loser. I'm just gonna blow everything up.
Yeah. Fuck it, Predator.
Yeah.
What the hell?
That's so great, dude.
Yeah, but I personally I thought the soundtrack added a lot in this one, definitely.
I think it works really well in this film, and then in Predator 2 they try to reuse the same one, and I don't think it fits the film as well.
I don't know
in
if Alan
Predator 2.
Silvestri came back for that. I could be. I have no idea, but
I looked him up and he was still doing stuff for like a Predator video game that came out in
Really?
2020.
Well, that's
But
cool.
I don't know if they're just crediting him because he made
because
the
he
original
wrote it?
theme.
Yeah,
That might be
could
the
be.
case, huh?
Yeah.
Who knows?
He-
Maybe
I-
did.
honestly, he might
If
even pass
did,
away. I
Good
don't
to
know.
him. I mean, that guy deserves work. So
Right. Yeah.
On the new Evil Dead video game, they credited the original composer
yeah,
as well.
okay, that's cool.
Yeah, so I don't know.
There might be
Sort
something
of
to
like
that.
Back
like
or
when they
what?
do a sequel, they credit for the. I'm sure it's going to be god awful Halloween film that's going to come out in October.
Halloween
They're
ends.
John Carpenter's going to get probably a writing credit because Laurie
Oh.
Strode is a character that John Carpenter wrote, or Deborah Hill wrote.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we talked about how like we dive deeper into things, the soundtrack, things like that. I went and I looked at like some of the behind the scenes, like the special effects and everything, and it's just really interesting to see how they did it. Something like I don't know everything about it, but somehow like for the invisibility kind of effect, they would film everything with like the characters, and then they would film it again with nobody in the shot, zoomed out just a little bit, and then somehow like kind of overlay the two shots, and so it made that effect where they would, the guy in the red suit, the Predator, he wears like a red suit to green screen key basically. It would basically make a shape on screen, and that's how they were able to get rid of it or something like that. It's just like, it seems so ingenuitive, because it's friggin' the 80s and they don't have all these advanced computer shit to do. Like,
right.
it was just cool, like the lengths that they went to, and then the practical effects are so good as well. Is it Stan Winston? I think his name is.
Yes.
Yeah, they brought him in to do the Predator creature, and I know he did like Jurassic Park and.
Did the Terminator.
Yeah, right. That's why they got him
So
in,
much
because he had
stuff.
worked with Arnie before.
Yeah. Yes.
Arnold. Yeah, but all these it's like movies are so involved. There's so much going on. It's like you have to write a song, you have to write a story, you have to have characters that act, you have to write the characters, you have to film the action scenes, blah blah blah. And this one just seemed like kind of a behemoth, but they kicked ass.
Yeah.
And this is 87 that they made this, so they're probably still shooting on film, right?
Oh yeah.
Not digital? How
No,
the
no,
heck do you green
Yeah.
screen on film? That sounds insane to me.
Very, very
Meticulous.
meticulous.
Yeah,
thank you.
probably.
Yeah, it was
Real
all,
detailed.
all they call it an optical effect, like in camera.
Mm.
It was very tough from what it looked like.
If it bleeds, they can kill it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that you say that too, because it makes me think you can really like dive in and get to the nitty gritty and how they did it, but then you just zoom out and you look and you're just like fucking Arnold saying all these killer lines,
Yeah, exactly.
If it bleeds, we can kill it, and they all like run off, and they got the big guns and the minigun and the grenade launcher attachment on the bottom of his gun. It's just
Yeah.
There's something in
Sonny
this
Landham's
movie
got
for
a
everybody.
shotgun.
But it shows you
Badass.
their experience and where they're at as far as a team and what they do for a living, and that's the first thing that pops in his mind.
right.
Yeah.
If it bleeds, yep.
Kill it. That's what I like about this movie. The objective is not to get to the chopper. They only get to the chopper basically after they try. I like the objective is after they realize what they're dealing with. Let's kill it.
Yeah.
That was a big problem with the film we reviewed last week that I had.
Nope.
Oh, nope.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, these are the trained, Green Berets. I made that point last week.
I eat
Versus,
green berets
like,
for breakfast.
Doesn't matter,
Fries,
man. These
electronics
trained Green
employees.
Berets could have been like, "Fuck this, we're getting out of here."
That's probably what Jim Hopper's crew did,
Yeah.
and they died for it.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, you're right. Arnold's like, they're talking about
He takes
leaving.
initiative, and I really respect that. It makes the character just so much more. It's so dense. There's so much going on with his character.
Yeah, he's like, we can make a stand here, and that's
Yeah.
when they do all their traps
It's
and
a
stuff.
fucking movie. That's what I want to see. I want to see badassery like that, you know? I want to see, you act like a bad motherfucker, and he does.
Yeah.
Bill Duke was a Green Beret in a Commando. Yeah. I eat Green Berets for breakfast.
Such a great
That's
line.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gets beat up by Arnold in that one.
Do you think Carl Weathers has a redemption in this at all?
What do you mean?
I kind of thought his death was sort of pointless. You know, he well, not pointless, but
It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
well, yeah, his death's great and everything, but
the arm falling off and the gun still shooting.
Yeah.
I was like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
but the character like motivation or whatever, you know, like that's what I was kind of like. Why is he doing this? Because he's like, I got a score to settle. I think it's just because he feels guilty about leading them all in here.
Yeah,
You know, manipulating them, and
Yeah.
now at that point, a few of them had already died.
right.
But I don't know if I would say he gets a redemption because he doesn't really do anything. He just
Well, he's kind of like portrayed, again, he's kind of portrayed as like the guy that fucked him over, you know? That he kind of was not an antagonist, but sort of deceptive.
I could see the redemption in so much as like he didn't run away. He could have been like, you know, fuck that, I'm out of here, man, game over. But instead he was, you know, he was more like facing it head on with the rest of the commandos,
Yeah.
the crew. Yeah, he goes and chases after Bill Duke and all that.
Right.
That's when he gets that great death scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
Do you guys, this is so random. Do you remember Coney 2012?
Of course.
Yes.
I remember people taking pictures of Carl Weathers from this and being like, Coney 2012.
No.
And people believing it was actually the Coney guy.
Sort of.
And,
I could see the resemblance.
People were
you know.
like, no, that's Carl Weathers from Predator, you idiots. No. Oh, man. Anyway, I
it's like
thought I'd bring that up.
Coney with boxing gloves on or something.
Oh, God, yeah. He was a boxer before he became a
warlord.
whatever,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Everybody thought he was killed by Ivan Drago or whatever.
Yeah. Turns out he went down to South America or Africa or wherever.
Became a
Coney
warlord.
Was. Yep.
Too funny. Coney 2012. God, what a throwback.
I remember people saying Kobe 2012 because Kobe Bryant was still playing at the time.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
All right.
Oh,
So
jeez.
in my college course for the 80s action films, I was talking about it a little bit. So the AIDS crisis, we find like our first case in 1981, but it goes under the radar. It's ravaging the gay community in San Francisco. It's ravaging, a lot of gay communities. And a lot of people don't want to acknowledge it as a true disease. Not until 2 weeks after this film was released, 1987, I think this one was released June, and then maybe July, Ronald Reagan will declare the AIDS crisis an emergency, and then they'll start actually scientifically researching it. But before that, we lose a lot of people to the AIDS crisis. And some people will say that this film might even portray the AIDS crisis because it's a group of men out in the forest being hunted by an invisible force. Nobody can see AIDS.
Good God.
That seems like a stretch.
Yeah,
A very big stretch, but I've
Isn't the thing
read
about
some
AIDS-
literature on it.
we had a big discussion on that when
we did the thing.
when we tried to do our thing on the thing.
Yeah.
Our thing on the thing.
What do you think it's a bad read on this
I
one?
doubt that's what the writers were going for.
I don't know.
You never know, like, subconsciously, but I mean, I'm sure this was written in, like, 1985 or 6 or something, and,
Yeah.
like, who knows?
When
you
it was
know.
really bad.
Yeah, it could be a subconscious thing, but I don't think that it's meant to represent that, at least. I don't know.
You can look at it like that, but I kind of doubt that's what they were going for, personally.
Because you could probably take that and put it on a lot of movies, you know?
Exactly.
I mean, there's that movie, It Follows, which I think is supposed to be about, like, STDs,
Right.
you know? It's kind of a similar premise.
Yeah. Well, like
But I don't know. Like, even with, like, the homoeroticism, it's just, like, it's hard to avoid that when you got a bunch of big,
Exactly.
sweaty biceps on your screen, you know?
Every movie of this era had homoeroticism to it. I don't know, like,
The 80s were just really gay.
I guess so. I don't know. I think it was just kind of a product of the time.
Why?
It was the era of bodybuilding, like wrestling got really big in the 80s.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just kind of, I don't know, we were like kind of enamored with like sort of like the Greek god
Yeah.
sort of view on these muscly men.
Well, some people point out that the predator only kills the men, and then the one woman in the film, she gets away
It's
scot.
because she's unarmed.
Yeah.
That's what I like about they elaborate more in Predator 2 because it's about to kill a woman. I won't spoil why. It doesn't kill a woman in Predator 2, but it has rules. The Predator has rules, which I really like. It has what do you call that? Like it has a sort of
code of conduct,
creed.
like
I don't know what you want. There's a word I'm trying to think of, and as always, I can't think of it.
It's displayed really well in Alien vs. Predator too. I mean, not the
As
sequel,
well.
but as well. When Wayland, he's like, "Hey, what are you doing, Predator?" And the Predator scans his whole body and finds that his
But
lungs are infected and he's
they-
about to die. So
they
he's
did
like,
it in-
whatever, I'm not gonna
They
kill
did it
you.
in Predator 2 already. I wasn't going to spoil it. The woman's pregnant and it doesn't kill it.
Yeah.
And I think that's way more
Interesting.
effective because it's about to. It's about to kill a woman.
Mhm.
Because it's about to kill. But it kind of goes to show that it's like, fuck, if you, present a threat, I will kill you. You are fair game. And then, when he finds out that she's pregnant, it's like, okay, well, this goes against my ruling, my morals. It's almost like the Predator has morals.
Well, the sport of it,
The sport, yes.
Because I
thank
think
you.
that's why, like, he, maybe I'm sure it's just plot armor, but why, like, Arnold at the end, he's fighting him hand to hand, is because Arnie doesn't have his gun anymore
Yeah,
or anything.
exactly. Yeah,
so
it's like, again, fair game.
yeah,
He
Which,
mirrors whatever it is that he's hunting.
yeah,
Yeah.
And there's a part in there earlier when he knocks the gun out of her hand.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
that's
he
right.
says that he
Yeah.
won't bother you
Right.
if you're not armed.
Yeah.
He knocks the gun out of her hand and then turns around and has that really funny face and he's shooting.
Arnold
and he,
does?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
And then he falls down because he gets shot and he says, "Get to the chopper." That's
Yeah.
the part
That's
where
funny.
he does it.
So do you think it's because Arnold recognized that?
I think so, because why else would he kick?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I wondered the same thing when he did it. Like,
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
why did he
that's
take away her
probably
gun?
why. Yeah.
He's afraid she's
Because
gonna
like,
shoot
wait,
him.
he realizes, he's like, why didn't it hurt her? When they're like, wondering what happened to Hawkins.
Oh yeah, like why didn't she run? Why isn't
Exact-
she hurt? Blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah.
exactly.
Yeah,
they're trying to
he
piece
catches
it
on to
together.
things really
He
quickly
does, yeah.
in this movie.
This might-
Arnold.
This might be This might be his best role.
Yeah.
You know who we haven't discussed yet
Hmm.
is Sonny Landham.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
we got
He was
Yeah,
a
that.
Billy. Yeah, he
Billy.
is.
Billy.
He knows what's going on the whole time, pretty much. Or, he's got
Phenomenal,
his
yeah.
sixth sense,
Yeah.
his Native American, I guess, like connection to the land or something like
Or,
that.
like, I don't know if it's like a sixth sense or just like he's just very attentive.
He's
Yeah.
a good tracker, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
he's-
kind of his role.
Great.
Yeah.
Some of that I'm like, can you even really do that? Like he's like 6 men and army issued boots. It's like, are you reading like the
Right.
stamp in the mud?
Right.
Maybe.
The U.S.
They do that in the
Army.
new Stranger Things, I
Yeah.
think, or something.
Yeah.
Remember, Argyle kind of does that. He's like, "Look at this, guys.
Oh yeah.
Look at this tracks."
Yeah.
It's like, are you really gonna
A tracker.
figure that out? But it works. It furthers the story. It furthers
Mm-hmm.
it accents the plot.
The first introduction we get as far as the Predator using the trees, because he says you've got all these prints of dead guys, and none of them leaving the
Right.
trails.
Yeah.
Right.
There was a firefight here. That was
Yeah.
a firefight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he recognizes that and that they didn't leave or anything.
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
It's like they just disappeared.
Yeah, and that again, that scene is so great. Just the visceralness, the imagery of the skinned bodies and everything. I really like how they went the extra mile to show that this thing is just shows no remorse. Again, man, this is such an iconic thing now, but tearing out the spinal cord with the skull, like it's just so, because the Mortal Kombat is famous
Yeah.
for doing that. So many other properties would do that afterwards, and this is one of the first big ones that kind of elaborated just like the grisliness of that.
Yeah, and then Sonny's body falling after that, it's like he's not there to eat. He's not hunting these guys for anything
They
except
make
for
fun
sport.
of that in the. I remember that was a big thing in not a big thing, but I remember that in the 2018 Predator movie. They're like, why do you call it a predator when it doesn't actually prey upon its victims? It's because it sounds cool. It's like, fuck you. Stop making fun of your own property, you douchebags. God, what's that guy's name? Danny McBride writing this? God.
It was Shane Black that wrote that Predator,
Which
isn't
is
it?
again,
Which is
it's
crazy.
just like, wow, way to shit on your the franchise you were in.
Yeah, it's your first acting role.
Yeah.
The when the Predator is hurt and he goes and he fixes himself and he yells out that big yell, and you could just feel it that, oh God, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that only Sonny and the girl notice.
Yeah.
Everybody
Oh,
else
really?
is kind of preoccupied
That's
with what's
cool.
going on, but they're both looking like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Yeah,
Or it's-
birds flying about.
It's almost like Jaws in a way. You don't see it all. You just see its hands. It's like its kit and
Yeah.
everything, and the blood. I really like the blood. I guess it was like glow stick insides and KY jelly. Looks great. So simple,
effect.
so simple, but it's so
Yeah.
great.
Very simple. Yeah.
Great. Just way to like. It looks like alien. That looks like what it would bleed.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I guess
it's-
originally it was supposed to be orange, but I like the green.
I think it works perfectly. Like that on the plant, the leaf, and everything. It just looks so great. It borrows, and again, we were making Jaws references to Nope, but I felt like this played upon those Hitchcockian themes so much better in the sense that it was just more of a threat. It just, I don't know. I just felt like this did it a lot better, and I really,
Yeah.
it's almost like
You
you
see
could
him.
say it rips it off. I think it just kind of, not even a homage, just borrows upon and makes it work so well for this.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking like, oh shit, what was I thinking? Damn, my memory just got wiped like Men in Black or something. It was like as I started talking, it just disappeared.
So what do you think? What do you think about the Predator's style of hunting? He uses invisibility, so he blends. Not really invisibility. It looks like more like he bends with the light or something. So he camouflages himself. He uses guns, spears. So
Claw
if-
things.
Does he have a spear in this one?
I can't remember.
He does in the second one for sure.
Yeah.
I don't
Does he
know.
have a spear in this one? He's got the claw thing.
The Wolverine without the middle.
Yes, yeah.
So, does he change his style of hunting if he's preying on something that's on another planet?
Could be.
Do you think?
Maybe, yeah.
Could be.
Adapts himself to their style of
And it might
of hunting.
Probably.
I'm sorry to bring up the second one again, but that's what I like about the second one. He's got like a whole other kit of weapons. It's almost like
urban
maybe
warfare.
Yeah, it's either that or just it's obviously another predator because spoilers,
This one
but
dies.
this one dies.
Yeah.
It's almost like to each predator they have their own sort of
Style?
it's like their own weapons, just like how maybe a human being might use a different type of gun or a crossbow instead of a gun or
Well, in
this, that,
number
and the other thing.
number 2, I don't think he uses a pulse cannon. I
think
don't
he does.
recall.
He
at
might
least.
not.
He does a lot of silent kills. I think that's what he's going for
He's
because
got,
it is a
like-
busy city.
He's got like a disc that's like a boomerang that cuts people.
Yeah.
He's got a spear.
Right, I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to watch 2 again.
It's worth a
I'm
watch.
just saying,
Yeah, I'm gonna
I'm
watch it
saying,
too.
man, in my opinion, it's underrated. It's not as good as the first one, but it just, I don't know. It furthers what the Predator could do so much, or not so much, but just so well done. One
Well-
kill that stuck with me as a kid, and it's like really not, it's not important at all, but when they're spying on the camp, and the one dude just blows the guy's brains out.
Yeah,
I remember just being like, that looked real. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God,
They don't
like,
cut away from it.
That's
or
like a
anything.
real act of violence. I was just like, holy shit! Like, how did they do that? It really looked like he just like straight up shot that guy in the head.
Yep. I love that it's Russians too. It's always fucking Russians in the 80s.
Fuck 'em.
Russians working with the South Americans.
Yeah. Yeah, they were working on something. They had all these plans,
Yeah.
which was weird because like the helicopter doesn't land there, and Carl Weathers is like, this is more than we ever expected to get. But then I thought they were gonna pick him up from there. I guess it's because the rebel forces were marching in or something like that.
Okay.
This area is too hot for pickup, something like that.
While we're on the topic of it, have you guys ever heard of the Iran Contra affair?
Oh yeah,
They say that
think so.
that whole compound scene was influenced by it.
probably.
I guess it occurred from 1981 to 1986. We were selling arms to the Iranians, taking that money that we made and
It
giving
was-
it to the
no, no,
Sandistas down
well,
in South America.
From what I've read, we were funding freedom fighters, Sandinistas, down in South America, and Congress got word that they were using our money to smuggle drugs. So they said, we're cutting you off. And the Reagan administration said, well, no, fuck that. Like, no, we're gonna end communism.
Communism
These
can't
fucks.
win.
So that's when they went and sold weapons or however the hell to get the funds, because Congress was like, we're not giving you any more money. So
Did it under the table.
That's how they got the funds and whatnot.
And
That's
Reagan
what
lied
I've
about
read.
it, right?
Reagan claimed he didn't know anything about it. which
Yeah,
they-
he got off
yeah,
scot-free.
Oliver North, who makes a special appearance in RoboCop 2,
Yeah.
they took the blame for it. But a lot of people just said he was just the patsy. because obviously Reagan knew about it.
I'm a patsy.
He's a patsy.
He's
But,
a patsy.
Kind of makes sense though for like the Carl Weathers character. He's like a CIA operative trying to deal with whatever's going on with that group in the jungle, trying to get intel, I guess, on the group. So he has to make up a cover story. Kind of interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
It might have influenced this movie, the Iran Contra
I'm
affair.
sure, it probably. Well, I don't know when that broke out. That broke out probably around the time this movie was released. That they were doing that.
It was
they
like
got caught.
1985, I think. Oliver North came out. He was
Oh, okay.
I better say something.
Okay, well, I don't think it was that. I think they got caught by Congress and they had to blame someone, and he was the one who
Took the
either.
fall.
Yeah,
He's the
exactly.
patsy.
Yes, yeah.
He's the
Pretty cool.
he's the what's his name that shot JFK?
Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, he's the Lee Harvey Oswald. I'm a patsy. I'm a patsy.
Yeah.
Speaking of historical stuff, you guys know about like Roswell and the Project Blue Book and stuff. You ever heard of that? It's the main like scientist that was eventually like came to believe in aliens and everything, UFOs, is J. Allen Hynek. And he's written all these books and stuff. He died like right before this movie was made, but I only bring him up because his son is the visual effects director for this movie.
Wow, that's
Whoa.
amazing.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
That's awesome. I
It's
didn't
just
know
so
that.
random. I
That's
looked
super cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, I saw his last name is Hynek, so I looked him up, and sure enough, it's his fucking son.
That's
and his
amazing.
dad died like during production of all this.
Wow,
So there's
that's
something to
crazy.
do with this movie and real aliens.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, kind of neat, like little tie-in there.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't know that at all. That's awesome.
Same.
Yeah. Yeah. And he did so good for visual effects, I think they won the award.
Oh,
Or
really?
they were at least nominated.
They should. Yeah.
Yeah, at least nominated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
exactly.
reading something about like the Oscar committee didn't know to like nominate them for visual effects or for special effects, like or practical, because there's so much of both. So they ended up going for visual effects, and then I think practical effects or whatever the name of the category is, it was won by Harry and the Hendersons, which is funny because that's Kevin Peter Hall.
I want to talk about Kevin Peter
Predator-
Hall.
the
That's
Predator.
why the only real Predator movies I acknowledge are 1 and 2, because to me Kevin Peter Hall is the Predator.
Yeah.
He played him in both films?
Yes, he played. Yeah.
Not Van Damme, huh?
Not Van. Yeah, no, we didn't even talk about that. Jean-Claude Van Damme was going to be the Predator in this silly bug-inspired Predator look, and it would not
Yeah.
have worked. So glad they changed it.
Yeah.
Apparently, James Cameron came up with the mandibles. I don't know if you guys read that at all.
Yeah, I heard
Oh.
that.
He was on a plane ride with Stan Winston. He's trying to come up with a look for the Predator. He's like, you should add mandibles.
Huh.
Should add
James Cameron's got his fingers and everything, man. His hands or whatever.
the whole Red Letter Media pointed this out about kind of like I guess the gayness of the movie. Like they're fighting a bunch of men are fighting against a vagina-looking creature.
I guess so, yeah.
You know.
Vagina dentata.
Yeah.
That's a movie. Teeth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
God.
oh boy.
Yeah, it's basically the Predator.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Predator's just one big pussy.
Yeah.
That's what Carl.
Jeez,
that's
you
what.
got a big pussy. Jeez, that's Shane Black should have said that if he saw his face. Jeez, you got a big pussy. Jeez, you got a big pussy.
You were going to talk about Kevin Peter Hall, though?
Yeah, no. I think the last movie he might have done was Predator 2. I said I'd save it for this. He got in a car accident and he needed a blood transfusion. And this is back when we didn't know what the fuck was, our HIV/AIDS knowledge was very, very antiquated or obsolete by nowadays standards. So he got a blood transfusion with HIV positive blood.
Oh,
Wow.
my
He died
God.
of AIDS that way.
Oh,
Which is super
jeez.
fucked up.
Ouch.
That's
But,
crazy.
No, he was a great. He was like 7 foot. I want to say 7 foot.
Yeah, I
2,
thought they said
just-
7'2".
Yeah, like that's like a foot taller than Arnold. That's why like Van Damme wouldn't have worked. He's 5'9".
Yeah,
like,
they saw the I saw the creature that he was supposed to play, and it is big. Like it ends up being
but it
taller
just
than
looks
Arnie.
silly, though.
Yeah, because his head's probably in the neck.
Yeah, it's just so like it just doesn't work. I guess he did do some stuff off after.
He did some
Predator
Night Court.
2. He
Yeah.
Harry Plinkett.
Only a
I'm
couple
sure, is a big,
things.
Kevin Peter Hall fan.
Damn, only 19 acting credits. It's a
Yeah,
shame.
how old was he? Does it say how old he was when he died?
Kevin Peter Hall.
Yeah.
Well, I think he was born like 51.
I'm scared of
Oh,
the man.
55
So he
to
would have been
91.
like 36.
40.
Sad.
46. Yeah.
I think it was he 46? I think it
No,
was
age
30.
35. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Math
Sad
hard.
shit.
All right, well, I think that about wraps up our talk on Predator. I think it's time to move to phase 2 of the discussion, which is our ratings. Mark, you want to start us off? I put you in the hot seat.
I don't want to give it a 5 the biggest thing that I don't like about it, and it's the problem with 80s action movies, is all the gunplay at the beginning. They could have cut that back a little bit.
Like the invading the camp and all that stuff.
Yeah, but yeah, it's those things where they stand out there in the open with their gun and they're mowing down 50 people.
And nobody gets hit.
Right. I have a problem with that. I've always had a problem with that. And that's the thing that's going to keep me from giving it a 5. So if you want to do fractions, a 4.85, 4.9, maybe something just a hair shy of a 5. It was almost the perfect movie. It was it's like you, Roman. I watch it 100 times. If I'm sitting there doing something and it pops on TV, I'll stop and watch it.
Yeah.
And it's just, it is a great movie, but that beginning kind of hurts me a little bit.
Yeah.
So
I could see that.
That'll do it. So high 4. Let's say this is so stupid. Let's say 4.9.
Nice. No, that's valid. I think there's definitely things that are wrong with it.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't know if there is such a thing as a perfect movie, but I sure like this one.
Mm-hmm.
Ian, what do you think?
I'll give it a 4.5 out of 5. I don't know if it's just because I feel like I've been giving too many 5s recently. I think it's just, to me, it's not my first Arnold movie I go to, and not even when I think of Arnold, I think of Terminator, even maybe Kindergarten Cop, just because that was the first Arnold movie I ever saw. There's other 80s action or sci-fi. I'd choose The Thing over this. But having said that, like I said earlier, it's still a great, fantastic movie. So, 4 out of 5. Or 4.5 out of 5. 4.5 out of 5.
Nice. Christian?
Yeah, I'm probably going to go with 4.5 out of 5. I'm very anti-deforestation. So
you hated the scene where they
I love the scene. I love the scene where they're just going crazy and just shooting everywhere, all over the place, but at the same time they're destroying the forest, guys. Come on. The fuck. But no, it's a wonderful film. Great violence, great action, great cast, really. I mean, Arnold, he's not really known for his acting abilities necessarily, but in an action flick like this, he's perfect. It's a perfect role for him. And Carl Weathers, he's always amazing. Pretty much everything I've seen him in, I've liked, I think. And yeah, 4.5 out of 5.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think for me, I'm gonna go with 5, because I can recognize. I think there's like I said earlier, there's a lot of running through the jungle. I wouldn't say the effects take me out of it, but again, if I'm really looking at it with a critical eye, if I wanted to dislike something, that could be something I could point to. There's all kinds of little things, but at the end of the day, it's still, probably one of my favorite movies. Even last night, I turned it on, and, I own it on Amazon Prime, so I turned it on, and it was near the end where he's gearing up to fight the Predator. It was already a pause there, because I watched it a few months ago or something. And I was just I had that thought, yeah, fuck yeah, baby, we're watching Predator again. I just love this movie. I think I might be with you, Ian, that I would take The Thing over Predator. But to me, those are probably 2 of my top 3 movies, top 5 at least. And they're both 5s. So Predator's a 5. Friggin', yeah. All the stuff I want to watch in a fun action movie. And then it goes sci-fi on you too, basically, and thriller. And Ian, you mentioned it earlier, but it's kind of got horror elements to it too, If you look at it a certain way, it's like a slasher movie. So, yeah, I love Predator. I just think it's the right mix of everything coming together. Definitely. For me, it's a 5-star movie. I'm a 5-star man. It's a 5-star movie. Yeah. What do you think, Carlos?
I'm going to follow you on that one. I got to give it a 5 out of 5. We were talking about the soundtrack. It fits very well with that jungle theme. Plenty of action. The deforestation scene is amazing.
It is.
We got those Arnold Schwarzenegger one-liners. And the supporting cast, I cared about almost all of them. They were all fantastic. Carl Weathers, Shane Black even was fine. Bill Duke, iconic scenes with Bill Duke. Iconic characters. Billy, the tracker. Amazing characters.
Yeah, cuts himself.
Yeah. And one of the most iconic aliens maybe ever created next to the Xenomorph. Spawned, like we were saying, all the video games, comic books, TV shows, everything.
Still to this day.
To this day, we got one coming out next week.
Exactly.
Let's keep it going.
A prequel.
Yeah, I gotta give it a 5 out of 5 as well, guys. Fantastic movie.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah. It's a great rating.
Yeah.
Overall.
I think we picked a good one for,
Yes, very much so.
For
yeah,
our
it's
big
just,
year.
And again, a great, fun summer blockbuster to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think this one will please a lot of people, too, like all kinds of, there's something for everybody.
Exactly.
Get the ladies can look at, big muscly biceps if that's what they want. Yeah.
Yeah, and it surprised me, too, when my professor chose this one, like, it's the Predator, come on, guys. And then he ended up being able to teach us, like, maybe look at it this way about the AIDS. And I ran Contra, and being able to read into an action film like that, it's just fun. It's really cool.
That feels to me very, like, school-like, like when you would go and...
Academic.
Yeah, you have to, like, break down and be like, what are they really trying to say, And sometimes, what do they say? Like, the curtains are just blue. You ever heard that? It's like... why did the author choose the curtains to be blue? Could it represent the melancholy? And then it's kind of like you said with John Carpenter, like, no, I just thought it'd be cool to do blue curtains.
Yeah.
And you could, you can read into anything, but I still think there's a lot. It's very dense.
It's so dense. There's so much going on.
So, Carlos, how does this, what you learned in school and all that kind of stuff, how do you look at it now when you watch it? If you were to sit down right now and watch it, how do you see it?
Watching The Predator?
Yeah.
This time I kind of just relaxed. And I just sat down and watched some machine guns go off. Some razors hitting the face. Some bombs going off. Predators getting shot up with green goo everywhere. I just enjoyed it this time, I try not to read into it too much. I just wanted to bring it up because that is what I learned in school.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. It's a fun movie to just sit down and have some popcorn too.
Yeah.
Good
Definitely.
stuff.
Cool. Yeah, well, that wraps it up.
Yeah.
Puts a nice little bow on those dreadlocks and... Nice.
And congrats, guys. 1 year.
Yeah.
1 year strong.
We made
Awesome.
Yeah.
it. It's been a fun year, definitely.
It has been.
Yeah.
It makes me look forward to the weekend every week.
Right.
Yeah.
Change the way I looked at
Oh,
film.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're such scholars now.
Yeah.
Film scholars.
I think that we're up to like 60 videos too.
Okay.
And it feels like we've barely scratched the
I
surface.
know.
It's
yeah.
insane.
There's a lot of movies out there, so yeah.
Yeah, you could watch like a movie every day the rest of your life and probably still never
Yeah.
catch everything.
Billions and billions of
Yes,
films.
exactly.
You're right, yeah.
Too much fun.
Yes.
Yep.
And thank you, too, for, I don't know if I speak for Christian, but for allowing us to be a part of this, because it was a whole lot of fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, of
Thank
course.
you very much.
It's awesome that you guys were down to do it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thanks to all the fans out there.
Yes.
The millions.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
you.
Yeah. 500 or whatever.
518 at this moment.
Nice.
Okay, so a year from now,
Yeah.
1,000.
Yeah.
At least minimum.
10,000.
1,000.
Nah.
100 billion subscribers.
Yeah. No, but yeah, really, thanks to everybody who watches
Yeah,
these
thank you.
videos. And,
Yeah.
it's fun for us to just talk, but it's also fun to
Yeah.
put it out there.
Exactly.
And we always want to hear what other people think, too.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
Tell us what you thought of Predator.
Is this a movie about the AIDS crisis? Let us know in the comments down below.
Would it have been better with John Carpenter as a bug monster?
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe though. And until next time, guys.
Signing off. Stick around.
Guys.
Later.
It has its moments, but again, the movie's 35 years old.
5 years old.
Jeez Louise.
Boy, I feel old.
Mark, did you see this in the theater?
No.
Oh.
Oh, dang. Neither did we.
Yeah. Hey, if they're ever showing it, I'm going.
Yeah,
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will eventually.
Yeah.
40-year anniversary or
Yeah.
something. Find it.
The watch with Arnold.
Yeah.
Come
on.
He'll fart
Get to
in
the
all-
theater.
he'll fart in all
Go.
their faces.